You know, when a massive global live stream just drops out, I mean, it costs thousands of dollars a second in lost revenue and reputational damage.
Oh, yeah. It is a nightmare for broadcasters.
Right. So today we're doing a deep dive into the invisible, bulletproof hardware that ensures that never happens. We are looking past all the dense AV jargon to uncover the heavy-duty tech that quietly powers complex video streaming networks.
And we're using a really specific product page as our guide for this, the Kiloview KVW-RU03 3RU-16CH Rackmount Frame.
Which is quite a mouthful.
It is, yeah. And to the untrained eye, it just looks like, well, a simple metal box. But understanding the engineering inside this 1,276 piece of equipment reveals exactly how enterprise video networks avoid those catastrophic failures we were just talking about.
Yeah, looking at the source specs for this frame, the sheer density is what jumps out to me immediately. We're talking about a 3RU chassis holding 16 distinct channels of encoding and decoding modules.
Right, all in one rack.
And it's handling H.264 HD decoding simultaneously across all 16 of those channels. That is just, I mean, that's massive computational overhead happening in real time.
It is. And the key to managing that overhead is the architecture itself. The manufacturer uses this phrase, freely mixing, which actually represents a huge shift in how these networks are built.
How so?
Well, historically, enterprise video infrastructure was incredibly rigid. Like, if you needed to swap a streaming protocol, you bought a whole new standalone box.
Oh, wow.
Right? But here, engineers can custom tailor deployments of any size and complexity. They just slide the specific encoder or decoder modules into the frame as they need them.
Okay, let's unpack this. It's basically a high-tech Lego baseplate for video streams.
Oh?
You just, snap in whatever specific module you need for the job.
That's a perfect analogy, yeah. And it scales, too, from a smaller 1RU frame with 4 channels up to the 3RU frame with 16. Or even they have a related RU03S model that packs in 32 channels.
Which gives them total flexibility. But okay, wait, I have to push back a little bit here on the investment.
Yeah.
Because I noticed in our sources there's a 10% off promo code floating around out there.
Which is pretty funny to see for heavy-duty enterprise hardware.
Right, like it's a pair of sneakers or a mattress. But even with that discount code, we are still talking about $1,276 for what is essentially an empty frame.
Well, I wouldn't call it empty.
But if the individual modules are the things doing the actual heavy lifting of encoding and decoding, aren't we just buying an incredibly expensive metal shelf?
I mean, calling it an expensive shelf completely ignores the physics of what happens when you stack 16 HD video encoders in roughly 5 inches of vertical space.
Oh, it gets hot.
Extremely hot. You aren't just building a video hub, you are building a space heater. So the real value of this frame is the environmental control.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it uses dual cooling fans for centralized heat dissipation. And those fans are not a luxury feature. They are literally the only thing preventing a thermal cascade that would melt the hardware and take down the entire live broadcast.
So the chassis is actively fighting the physical environment to keep those modules alive.
It has to. And it manages the electrical environment just as aggressively. The 3RU device is equipped with 110-watt redundant power modules.
Redundant meaning a backup.
Exactly. Because it's a unified chassis, that dual power supply load balances. If your primary grid spikes or just fails completely, there is 0 milliseconds of handover time.
Wait, really? 0?
0. The individual video modules never even register that the primary power died. That is how they guarantee the long-time stable operation that they promise in the specs.
Wow. Okay, well, that reframes the price tag entirely.
Yeah.
You aren't buying a shelf. You are buying an insurance policy against overheating or power loss during your critical moments.
Exactly. In professional IP video deployments, you just cannot afford downtime.
Right. Now, for you listening, you probably don't need a heavy-duty 3RU rack mount device just to keep your living room setup running.
Definitely overkill for a living room.
Yeah, but understanding this hardware really highlights the invisible, bulletproof infrastructure required to keep modern digital video flowing flawlessly to your screens.
It absolutely does.
And it leaves us with an interesting final thought to ponder based on the source today. If a single 3RU chassis can now autonomously manage 16 distinct high-definition video channels with built-in power fail-safes, at what point does the physical hardware footprint cease to be the bottleneck in global, limitless video broadcasting?